I'm Heather McElhatton, and this is A Beautiful World.
I was strapped to the end of the space station's robotic arm and was flown through a big maneuver across the top of the space station and back. So at the top of this arc, I was looking down at the space station against the backdrop of the undescribably beautiful Earth 250 miles below, and it took my breath away. I was filled with awe.
That's NASA astronaut Ron Garan. The first time Garan went into space was in 2008.
Ignition sequence start.
He flew on the Space Shuttle Discovery, and it's when he also experienced a phenomenon that many astronauts do, called the overview effect.
That idea of home expands, and expands all the way to the planet.
That's Guy Reed, a filmmaker who made a documentary with Ron Garan called Planetary. It shows how astronauts' idea of home expands to include the entire planet after they see it from space.
And for some other astronauts, that expands further to the whole universe.
I look down at this planet, at our Earth, and you see this thin, shimmering layer of blue light. That's our atmosphere that sustains us. It almost seems like it iridesces from within.
Mae Jemison was the first African-American woman to become an astronaut when she went into orbit aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour.
And I felt, we're as much a part of this universe as any speck of stardust, any asteroid. We're part of this universe.
Many astronauts say they feel the overview effect early in the mission. Typically, Ron Garan says, that first day in space.
That first day in space, the most spectacular moment was when you look out the window for the first time. When you are able to unstrap out of your seat, your tasks are over, and you get to really take a look at our planet. Is just absolutely breathtaking to see that.
Garan says in that moment there are no dividing borders or political boundaries or cultural divisions. Just one planet, one world. Here he is in the film Planetary.
It really does look like this beautiful oasis out in the middle of nothingness. And if you have a chance for your eyes to adjust and you can actually see the stars in the Milky Way, it's this oasis against the backdrop of infinity, of this just, enormous universe behind it. And it's, really a very moving experience to be able to see that with your eyes.
When Ron Garan returned to Earth after living aboard the International Space Station for 5 months, he tumbled through the atmosphere in a Soyuz landing craft, which hurtled towards Earth and landed in Kazakhstan. They smashed violently down to the ground, rolled over and flipped, so the tiny window he was looking out of was face down on the ground. And there, framed perfectly in the porthole, he saw a rock, a flower, and a blade of grass. He says it was one of the most beautiful things he'd ever seen. And right then, he no longer thought of himself as an American anymore. He wasn't from Texas or from Houston. He was from planet Earth.
We have this incredibly beautiful, peaceful, fragile planet from space, but you can't help but think about the unfortunate realities of life on our planet for a significant portion of those inhabitants. But the other side of that is, if we can do this, if nations can join together and do this amazing thing in space, imagine what we can do to overcome the challenges facing our planet.
Garan has since founded several philanthropic projects, including a grassroots initiative called Fragile Oasis. The group's mission is to collaborate on the challenges facing Earth's inhabitants. But you don't have to be an astronaut or go to space to experience the overview effect. Ecologist and philosopher Joanna Macy is also featured in the documentary, and she says you can feel the overview effect just by stopping and studying a picture of Earth. Here she is in one of the final segments of the film, describing what it's like when she studies images of Earth from space.
And you're struck with such a gladness at that beauty and the originality of it that you don't have time to think about how is it going to turn out. All you know is you'll serve it to the last breath.
Planetary is available to watch online now. There you can see the transforming power of the overview effect for yourself. I'm Heather McElhatton, and this is A Beautiful World.